All right, everybody, I wanted to do one more quick video, or kind of quick video. We'll see, maybe average length here while I'm at Oak Ridge. And as you might be able to tell right now, I am in a railroad cut. And I forgot to mention as I was wrapping up with the 16th Maine and Charles Tilden, their eventual fate was, luckily most of them were able to flee. You know, some got killed retreating, but I think the majority of Tilden's men, Colonel Tilden, were survived the onslaught, fled the scene not too far from here up the ridge, and were found down here in the railroad cut where they surrendered. So I'm gonna keep most of this quiet, but I'm just gonna point out a couple of things. Again, way up yonder on the hill, different vantage point now, we have the Eternal Peace Light Memorial. I'm not sure if I told the story about the first railroad cut incident earlier in the day. It was a temporary bright spot for the Union when they managed to catch a little over 200 Confederates down in the railroad cut back towards McPherson's Ridge and the Chambersburg Pike, because the rebels initially thought, and you can't really blame them, that it might be a good defensive position. But it turned out, unlike this railroad cut, which is only a few feet from here to there, and then not too steep a slope going up the rest of the way, the railroad cut back to the west is much steeper and had walls about up to 15 feet high. So they actually kind of got trapped down there and had to surrender. And again, this is why I came down here, to get some stills. This is the McLean farm. Again, I'm not sure exactly of its significance, but it was destroyed during the fighting. Someone's gonna leave a comment that I made them dizzy. Up yonder on the hill, of course, you can see the observation tower, all 25 feet of it. Gorgeous day. Glad I came up here. I was debating today's trip, because this one's just for the day. Give you a little preview of what's coming up. I, like I've said, I'm gonna hit Hershey soon, because I'm dying to go to the Trogs Brewery, but also also to the just to the east. I'm sorry, just to the west. In Harrisburg, I am dying to see the quote-unquote National Civil War Museum, which, to be honest, I think will be cool. I'm not expecting the world of. You know, it's probably got, you know, one room devoted to this theater, one big room devoted to that theater, and so on, but it'll still be neat to see it. Couldn't resist this shot. Oh, it's just so beautiful. Look at all that honeysuckle. I grew up with a big honeysuckle bush. I probably told you this, by my house when I was a kid, so whenever I smell it, it just brings me right back. Rail fence in the background. One of the biggest concerns about the for the farmers after this battle, especially in this area, north and west of town, was how expensive it was going to be to rebuild their farms. And a big part of that expense of rebuilding the farm was the money it would cost to build a new fence. Little FYI. But anyhow, please do not ignore the first day's battlefield sites. The first day, in my opinion, is so deserving of so much more attention. It's how it all began. And speaking of, well, I mean, kind of how it really all began, in some future videos I'm going to be addressing the 2 weeks leading up to the battle itself, with a lot of the action taking place in cities like Carlisle, like York, other cities nearby. I'm just groping right now. They're not all coming to my mind, but a lot of folks don't realize that, and as others have pointed out, one of the great ironies of how this battle started was all the Union folks were coming up from the south of the Mason-Dixon, and all the Confederate soldiers were rushing in from the north, because they were already up in this area rabble-rousing and ransacking. And, you know, again, there were many reasons for the second incursion into Maryland, or through Maryland into the north. Robert E. Lee certainly felt like he had to... It's loud! I like bikers though. Robert E. Lee certainly felt like he had to go on the offensive, and he was probably right. He couldn't sit still and stay idle, or he would just get boxed in. Lot of reasons, you know. Again, trying to dash Lincoln's re-election hopes was another. Trying to maybe gain some support from Europe was the third, and so on and so forth. But you know what? There's some folks who say that the Confederates looking for shoes was not the reason this battle was started. It's as far as I know, it's actually pretty true. But it's kind of a microcosm. The bigger issue again is they were just in need, period. They were, you know, they needed new clothes, they needed new shoes, they were looking to ransack, ransom through the old bad man Jubal Early, and they did. They collected ransoms from, oh shoot, let me see, not Frizzleburg, not Middletown. They collected from Frederick. Well, that was in, I'm sorry, 1864. They collected from almost every town that they came through. Hagerstown was the first one. Hagerstown was a big one, and I think they shook Hagerstown down for 20 grand. That was a lot of money back in the day. The road system also happened to be part of why the battle took place here, but that mostly had to do with, like I said, the Confederate side, because Lee was calling all his troops in, which were spread out all points northwest, north, north, and northeast of Gettysburg. And you know what? I've heard from some of the best people. I've heard them say on some occasions that Lee called them all back to Gettysburg, and I've also heard the same people in different lectures or whatever, different books, say that he called them all back to Chambersburg. So I mean, it's the difference is almost neither here nor there. They're both very close to each other. Lee called them all back to South Central Pennsylvania to convene because he realized Meade was on his way and he was making a lot quicker time than he thought he would be. So I'm gonna head back up, hop in the car, and go to the next point. But to be honest, I'm probably gonna enjoy myself for the rest of the day. I've taped 3 videos here at Oak Ridge today, and this will probably be my 3rd and final for the day. I'm sure I've said something like that before. We'll see if I stick to it or not, but until the next one, guys, see ya.